Hello, I'm Jason Ray, and in this video, I want to talk to you about the 3 things that you're going to need to take into account before getting a rescue or a shelter dog. Really, any dog for that matter. Now, these 3 points are your time, the space that you have, and the money or the budget that you're willing to spend on your dog every single month. Now, let's talk about each one of these. First of all, time. In my opinion, this can be the most important, because so many dog owners put their dog in the backyard and then wonder why they develop behavior problems. Well, it's because you're not interacting with your dog or you're not giving it much time. You know, dogs are extremely smart and they get bored fast. So do you have time to exercise your dog? Now, if you're a single person and you work 70 hours a week at your job, probably don't want to go get a German Shepherd or a boxer or a high energy dog, because you're going to come home and everything's going to be tore apart, not because they're a bad dog, but because they're bored to death, right? So you want to make sure it fits your lifestyle, right? Now, if you have a family and you have other people that can work and exercise that dog, then it's a different story. Here's the point. If you have a lot of time or you exercise, or maybe you're super active, then you can get a high energy dog. If you're super busy and you don't work out or you're not active, you want to get a low energy dog. That way it matches you, okay? So you want to make sure you get that right. Okay, time is so important. Next, let's talk about space. I think this is the most obvious one, right? Like if you live in a condo, you know, and it's a small apartment or a condo, you don't go get a Great Dane and think, oh, it's okay, I'll walk them twice a day. No, not gonna work. That dog needs space. It needs a backyard to run and to play in. Now, that doesn't give us the right to just dump them in the backyard and leave them, but again, they do need their space, all right? So it's very important that you take that in and say, you know what? Is my house big enough for 2 German Shepherds or a Great Dane or this big boxer, right? You want to make sure that you have the time commitment that you can give a high energy dog and the space. Now let's talk about the last one, which is money. How much have you budgeted? Have you thought about that yet? Like, think about it. How much can I afford per month on a dog? So when you go adopt a dog, you know, you have the adoption fee and the initial food, but to keep up the upkeep on that dog, one, you should be putting some money away, whether it's $10 or $20 a month, every month for medical expenses. What if something happens to that dog or there's an emergency? You need to have a fund for that. Also, your food. So let's say, or not your food, but the dog food. Let's say you have a German Shepherd, but your budget is $30 a month. Well, you really can't afford to feed that German Shepherd. Now, you could go get the worst kibble available on the market, but that's not healthy. That's not great for the dog. Right? You know, when I first picked my first dog from a shelter, I had about a $40 a month budget. So guess what that got me? A miniature schnauzer. I could still afford to go get it a great kibble, you know, organic or holistic type kibble, so the dog was healthy, and I had a little money to put away every month for health expenses. Now, he didn't have any for about 10 years, so I was okay with that. But the point is I got the dog that matched my budget and my family. And you really got to think about that. Never lessen the quality of the dog's life because you can't afford the food or the supplies. Just get a smaller dog or get a dog that matches your budget. So let's go over these and I'll wrap up here. First of all was time, which is most important, because if you don't give the dog the proper amount of time and exercise, you're gonna run into behavior problems. And again, it's not gonna be the dog's fault. Space, which is the most obvious. You know, you don't shove a Great Dane in a condo. It's not gonna work. And then most important is the money, right? Can you afford that dog to give it good kibble, good health care, and good supplies? So there you go. Those are the 3 things you need to take into account when you're choosing. This is something you wanna think about before you go and choose a dog, whether it be at a shelter or a rescue. And if you have any questions about training your rescue or shelter dog, or you run into behavior problems, there'll be a link after this video. We actually put a program together specifically for training rescue and shelter dogs and working through if you run into any behavior problems. So thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you guys in the next video.